At 2:48 in the morning, most of the world is silent, but you are wide awake. Before your eyes even fully open, your hand is reaching for the phone on your nightstand. The screen glows blue against the ceiling as you thumb into your banking app. You watch that little loading wheel spin for half a second, holding your breath until the number appears. It is exactly what you thought it would be, because you also checked it at 11:22 p.m. and 8:15 p.m. You haven't moved a single dollar, but you just needed to make sure the dollars hadn't moved either. This is the starting line for millions of people, a place where money isn't just currency. It is an all-consuming emotion. Today, we are going to walk through every level of wealth from $0 to $5 million to see how the math changes, and, more importantly, how your brain changes. We are following one person's journey across these 9 levels to find the one number that actually matters. Level 1 is $0 or even less. It is a Tuesday, you are 24 years old, and you are standing in a Dollar Tree under fluorescent lights that make everyone look slightly dead. You are doing price per ounce math out loud because you need to know if the small bottle of ibuprofen is a better deal than the large one. That 40-cent difference matters because you've already moved your cart past the ramen 3 times, trying to decide if you can afford both soap and dinner this week. This is where 10% of American households live permanently, and another 62% visit through paycheck-to-paycheck life. At this level, your 2008 Camry needs brakes for $480, but you only have $63 until Friday. You don't have choices. You have damage control options, like a title loan or just driving until the rotor becomes a $900 catastrophe. This scarcity doesn't just hurt your wallet. A Princeton study showed that the cognitive load of financial scarcity actually costs you about 13 IQ points while you are in it. The system doesn't just make you poor. It makes you worse at making the decisions needed to escape poverty. You are one unlucky Tuesday from a catastrophe that 62% of the time involves a medical bill. Level 2 is $1,000. You are 25 now, and you just hit this milestone for the first time in your adult life. You take a screenshot because it's the first time the number has a comma in it. This is a psychological milestone, but you quickly learn what $1,000 is not. It is not a month of rent in a major city, it is not a new transmission, and it is not an ER copay. In a high-yield account, this money earns you about $3 a month, which is basically enough for the good cheese on one grocery trip. 2 weeks later, the water heater dies for $1,100, and you are back to $0 plus $100 on a credit card. The $1,000 was never meant to be enough. It exists to stop you from losing emotional momentum when life breaks something. But something has changed. You checked your bank app at 3 a.m. only once this week instead of every night. The muscle is loosening and the panic is getting quieter. Level 3 is $10,000. You are 28, and after 4 years of picking up extra shifts and eating the same packed lunch, you have a genuine emergency fund. This level feels different physically. When your mechanic calls to say your transmission is shot and the repair is $3,200, you don't have a mental spiral. You just say okay and go back to your life. You don't check your bank app at 11 p.m. anymore because $10,000 doesn't buy you freedom, it buys you sleep. You are now in the top 65% of emergency savings, giving you a 3-month runway if you lost your job tomorrow. However, the math still insults you. $10,000 in a savings account earns $400 a year, but if you are carrying $5,000 in credit card debt at 22%, you are paying $1,100 to earn $400. That is financial self-harm. And a third of Americans are doing it while calling themselves good with money. Getting here was the hardest part because every dollar came from saying no to a version of yourself that other people seem to be living. Level 4 is $35,000. You are 32 and you finally bought a couch that wasn't from Facebook Marketplace. You felt so guilty about it you almost returned it. That couch guilt is the reason you have $35,000 instead of $3,500. You are now in the top 85% of liquid savings, and it changes your posture at work. When your boss calls you into a conference room, your palms don't sweat because you know you have 8 months of runway. But this is a sneaky trap. At this level, you are roughly average for your age, but every Instagram post is calibrated for the top 5% who have nearly $2 million. When you feel behind, you do dumb things like taking out a loan to renovate or buying the truck your coworker has. Most people silence the couch guilt voice at this level, but the wealthy are the ones who keep it permanently installed. Level 5 is the $100,000 mark. You are 36 and the account hit 6 figures last week, but you told nobody. This is the threshold Charlie Munger famously talked about when he said the first 100,000 is a difficult journey, but you have to do it even if it means walking everywhere. Adjusted for inflation in 2026, Munger's 100,000 is closer to 200,000, but the mechanical flip remains the same. To get to this first 100,000, your contributions did 81% of the work while your returns only did 19%. But after this, the game flips. Around a balance of $171,000, your annual returns start beating your annual contributions. Your money is finally working harder than you are, and it only accelerates from here. Most households never cross this line, and the median household doesn't hit it until their late 30s or mid-40s. Level 6 is $250,000. You are 41, and you have reached CoastFIRE. This means if you never added another dollar at a 7% return, your account would grow to $1.3 million by age 65. You don't have to save for retirement anymore. You can use your whole paycheck to travel or take a career risk, but income alone won't keep you here. There is a couple with a combined income of $286,000 who only had $2,000 in savings because they refused to give up expensive hobbies. If they lost their jobs, they would be broke in 4 days. There is no salary big enough to outrun undisciplined behavior. The people who stay at this level are the ones who kept the couch guilt and said no thanks to the high-performance lifestyle. Level 7 is $500,000. You are 46, and you are in the top 25% of households. At this level, you stop checking your phone daily because a 3% fluctuation is $15,000, more than your monthly contributions used to be. The numbers aren't about your behavior anymore, they are about the market, and the market doesn't care about you. In a good year, this portfolio can earn $125,000 while you sleep, which is more than most households make at a job. Your money now has a better job than you do. But the peer group updates as the number updates, and some people with millions still feel squeezed because wealth is relative. The trick is to freeze your lifestyle spending even as the portfolio grows. Level 8 is the $1 million mark. You are 52, and you are the mythical millionaire. You make coffee on a Tuesday morning, and nothing feels different. In 2026, 18% of households are millionaires, and the average age is 61. $1 million at a 4% withdrawal rate only produces $40,000 a year, which is below the median income. Your million buys you a paid-off house and a Costco membership, not a yacht. Only 36% of actual millionaires even feel wealthy. Consider Ronald Reed, a janitor who lived simply, held his coat together with a safety pin, and drove an old Toyota. When he died at 92, he had $8 million in stocks because he never stopped being the guy who ate an English muffin at the hospital cafeteria. He looked homeless to some, but he was one of the wealthiest men in his town. Level 9 is $3 million to $5 million. You are 55, and you have reached generational wealth. $3 million provides an inflation-adjusted $120,000 a year forever. You are in the top 7% of households. This is where different levels of FIRE, financial independence, retire early, take over, from lean FIRE to fat FIRE at 5 million and up. At this level, the stress doesn't go away, it just changes clothes. At $0, you asked if you could make rent. At 3 million, you ask if 3 million is even enough. The cortisol stays the same because your nervous system just finds new things to worry about. The truth is that below $100,000, more money measurably relieves suffering. But above that line, money mostly relieves comparison, and comparison is a bottomless well. Joseph Heller, the author of Catch-22, once told a hedge fund manager that he had something the manager would never have, the knowledge that he had enough. Your enough is probably smaller than the internet told you. It probably looks like a paid-off house, a boring index fund, and a Tuesday afternoon where nobody needs you. Tomorrow morning, look at your number and don't ask how to get to the next tier. Instead, ask what is the smallest thing you can do this week to stop leaking money out of the tier you are in. Start there and let the math do the rest.